Hey guys, I hope you're doing well today. Today I have a get ready with me on this makeup look. So I was using new brushes, and these are new affordable brushes. These are from DUCare. These are made in China, but they are synthetic brushes. They retail for $20 or $19.99, and I will link them down below. And they just wanted me to do a video or get ready with me using these products, and I let you know my thoughts and opinions on these brushes throughout the video as I was using them. All thoughts and opinions are my own, not sponsored, but they did send me this free to review. Let's get started so I can show you how I achieved this look with these new affordable brushes. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I am going to be testing some brushes that were sent to me free to review, but all opinions and thoughts are my own. They just wanted me to try these brushes in a video, so that's what I'm doing. These are the DUCare brushes. They are synthetic brushes made in China, so it is an 11-piece brush set. So I have some face brushes, some eye brushes, and I will be testing the majority of them. Some of them I will be putting into a giveaway because I just won't be using those types of brushes in my routine. Like, I have a fan brush, and then I have a gel eyeliner brush, which I won't be using because I don't use those products. So let's get into it. I already primed my eyes with the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and this is just a deluxe size sample, and I'm going to go into some cream shadow. So spoiler alert, if you're following my Drop 10 by Summer Project Pan, I finished my Benefit Creaseless Cream Shadow in Bikini Teeny, so I've been working on this one a little bit. This is the LOC Shadow Stick in Heavy Petal, and what I don't like about it is that when I'm using it, like, it kind of chunks up a little bit, so I have to blend it out with my finger, which is fine, but I just don't like that it chunks up a lot. But it is a beautiful color. It's very similar to the Benefit one, but it is a little bit deeper. I'm going to throw a little bit of my Benefit Watts Up in my inner corner. I did that yesterday and it looked really pretty. So this is just a beautiful, like, golden shade. The first brush I'm going to use from the set is this flat shader brush, and I'm going to set my brow bone area with my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Powder in Porcelain. I do this to help with blending a little bit more, and it does work as a brow bone highlight too, but I do like to use something else sometimes, but sometimes I'll just use this. It just depends on my mood, honestly. So I like to make it pretty opaque so the blending is a little bit easier, and also the color is a little bit brighter. And this brush seems really nice and soft. It's not super dense, but it does apply the product pretty nicely, which I do appreciate. Now we're going to get into some eyeshadow. So I'm just going to use my Urban Decay Naked palette, and this is the palette I'm panning for this year. And if you haven't seen my recent Pan That Palette update, I will link it up here. And I showed you how I like to use the color Smog in this palette, so that's what I'm going to do in this video to show you how I do that look. So maybe if you don't like the color Smog, you can find a way to work with it better for you. So I'm going to use the same shader brush that I used for my matte powder, and I'm going to use Smog in the palette and place this all over my lid. And I'm going to answer some questions that I asked you guys to ask me when I had a giveaway. That was the way I had you guys enter. So I'm going to start off with Janet B's question. So Janet actually asked me 3 questions. Her first one was, do you have any siblings? And I do. I have 2 siblings, and their names are Kevin and Jessica. They're both younger than me, so I'm the oldest. Kevin is 20, and then Jess is 15. I think I really actually like this shader brush. It really helped diffuse the color up top a little bit, and I think it did pack on the color really beautifully. So now I'm going to go into Champagne Pop. And Janet's second question was, if you could visit anywhere in the world, where would you go? And I would love to go to Germany because I've taken like so many years of German. I'm not fluent, but that's because I haven't had it consistently, and I had probably like 7 years of it, which is pretty sad that I'm not fluent, but the American education system doesn't require you to take a language until you're in middle school. At least that's how it was in my high school. And in like other countries, you're supposed to be taking English class or like English language class in like kindergarten, I'm pretty sure, or whatever the equivalent is in other countries. But here we just don't. So I would love to go to Germany anyway because I know the language somewhat, and I think the country itself is really beautiful. You guys, I just hit pan on Champagne Pop, and I love this color. It's a beautiful highlight, but I have to layer it, but it's also really beautiful eyeshadow. I'm going to use this brush for my crease and transition color, and I probably have to use it for my outer corner because I don't have a separate outer corner brush that's a little more like detailed. So hopefully it works out well. I do have pretty hooded eyes, so I think that this might be okay for my specific eye shape. So let's go into it. And then Janet's third question was, what is your favorite color? And my favorite color is blue. So I'm definitely really digging these brushes because I love like any kind of light blue, dark blue. Royal blue is like one of my favorites, but definitely like a mint green, but like mint blue or a royal blue are like my all-time favorite colors of blue. But blue in general is my favorite color. That was like a tangent, I'm sorry. This brush actually isn't bad for blending into my crease. This is Buck that I'm using from the Naked palette for my eyeshadow in the crease, and it's super soft, so I think it's blending it really nicely, which I wasn't really expecting it to be like that nice. And anyway, aside from the questions, I had to buy a new laptop charger off of Amazon because mine decided to die, so I've been having to like maneuver it and make it charge somehow. And I've had this charger, well, slash laptop for not even 2 years, so I must be just really rough on my technology. I've never had good luck with technology, and I try my best not to like hurt it, but I don't know what I do. So I had to get a new charger, which I'm kind of upset about, but I'm hoping this charger lasts me for a couple days because my Amazon shipment's not coming until Friday, so wish me luck. Let's see how this brush is for my outer corner. So we're going to take Dark Horse with it. I'm just going to tap that brush into it. Oh, it's not bad. Not that pigmented, but I also didn't press that hard. There we go. There's some color. So it's actually blending pretty nicely. I might have to use a lighter color just to make it look a little more seamless, but I actually do like the way that this brush is blending out both my outer corner and my crease colors. Let's do another question. Amanda Speaks asks, besides makeup and horses, what other hobbies do you have? That's pretty much it. I mean, I volunteered in animal rescue when I'm on breaks, but since I will be graduating, I will be home. I don't have a job yet, so I'll probably be volunteering at the rescue a little bit more now because I have the time, and I'm excited because I love volunteering with the animals. I walk dogs, and I like walking like any kind of dog. It doesn't really matter to me. I like walking the easier dogs or the hard dogs. Pits have become like one of my favorite dog breeds. I know they get such a bad rep, but they're honestly big babies. I know a lot of people that don't like them haven't even like worked with them or like been around them, so they get that stigma, and people just don't take the time to get to know them, which is really sad because they are such good dogs, and I really want my first dog to be a little pitty because they're so cute. And they're always at rescues, which is really sad. I mean, other dogs are at rescues too. We have like a lot of mixes and Great Pyrenees. We get a lot of those in. There are other dogs at rescues. You can even still get puppies at rescues. I'm still going on a tangent here again, but I guess my moral of the story is get to know the dogs. Doesn't matter the breed, it's how they're raised. And also you should definitely adopt and not buy your dogs from like pet stores or even any of your pets from pet stores, because especially dogs, a lot of them come from puppy mills, and I live in an area where there's a ton of puppy mills and people just don't really realize that, which is really sad. But on a lighter note, these two brushes might actually become some of my favorites. I really like the way they blended my eyeshadow and applied it. To save some time, I'm going to apply my eyeliner and mascara off camera because it does take up a lot of the video time. Eyeliner and mascara is done, so I'm going to do my brows, which I normally don't do on camera. So I'm going to go in with this brow brush. It has a little spoolie on the end and then an angle brush. And I'm going to do my brows, so I'm going to use my Urban Decay times Gwen Stefani Brow Box in Bathwater Blonde. And I'm going to use the lighter color in my brows, so hopefully it looks nice. And I typically use a very stiff brow brush, but I think it would be nice to just use this one because this one's pretty thin. And it seems to be working just fine. And this is my first impressions with them, and I'm not trying to be like overly nice. I didn't expect like, especially the blending brush to work so well considering it's so thin, but I think it does work well for my hooded eyes because I can't really use like a Sigma E40, which I did buy, but it just never worked for me because it was so big. But I think smaller eye brushes work really nicely for me. I'm going to put the brow wax on after I do my foundation and concealer just because that's just the way I like to do it. So I think my brows look okay, but I think I just need to get used to the brush. There they look fine. It's not anything bad, but I just don't like the way my brows look in general. So I'm going to clean up underneath my eyes and we'll move on to the face. I've been enjoying looking extra glowy lately, so I've been using the MAC Strobe Cream as a face primer. This is just a deluxe size sample. I think I have 1 or 2 of these left, but this is like one of my favorite primers that I've used. I just love looking very glowy and pretty, so I put this like all over my face. And I love how it has like a little bit of a pink sheen to it. So I guess we'll get into questions after I rub this in. This is such a nice, like, glowy face primer, and I think you can use it as a moisturizer too, but I just typically use it as a primer. In order to use up this Benefit Watts Up, I also like to put it on the high points of my face under my foundation because it is a little bit too dark for me over foundation, but I got a little bit of color over the weekend. Color, more like red. So it might work for me now, but I've just been putting it under and it works fine for me. So Angela Q asks, can you film a best and worst of each brand? And if I was a bigger YouTuber and had more access to like, well, more access, but like if I got PR more, I would do a best and worst of certain brands, but I don't have a ton from each brand. Like I only have one thing from Anastasia, especially now that I decluttered, like a palette that I depotted. I have a couple of things from Maybelline, and I just don't have a ton from each brand, so I can't really do a best and worst. I think it would be probably pretty boring. But maybe in the future, if I get PR from certain brands, I would love to do a best and worst of beauty. I just don't feel like buying those products because I want to have a pretty small-ish and manageable collection, but maybe in the future, you never know. For foundation today, I'm going to use my Maybelline Better Skin, and this is in the shade Porcelain, which I believe is the lightest color, of course. I probably look pretty crazy right now because I dotted the foundation on my face without blending it, so I'm going to try to blend it with this DUCare foundation brush. It's just a flat top kabuki, and I'm pretty nervous because foundation brushes don't always work out for me, but ooh, this is kind of nice. Foundation brushes are typically very streaky on me, but I think we might have a winner here, just from first impression. Might be absorbing some of the product, but it's not making it streaky whatsoever. I will say it did shed one hair, but so far, so good. I'm going to put a little bit more on like my cheeks area, but I think it did blend it out very nicely, which I was so nervous about because, like I said, foundation brushes don't always work for me. So I'm just going to put a little more product on my cheeks and then blend it out. So my foundation is done, and I think it looks really nice. I'm going to get a little bit closer to the camera. I do have some red spots showing, but that's normal, and even my Zoeva Buffer brush, which is a flat top kabuki brush, doesn't always cover that, and I think this brush did do a good job. For my under eye concealer, my boyfriend was so nice, and he saw that my Real Techniques sponge was ripping, so he thought he picked up the Real Techniques one, but it was actually this Equate Beauty one. So I'm going to try these out. I already wet one of them. This is the color correcting set. So it comes with 4 sponges, and one is a foundation sponge, or at least I think it's foundation sponge, and the rest are like really tiny detail ones. So hopefully this doesn't soak up too much product. Let's see how this goes. I do think they're a little awkward to like hold, but I mean, it seems okay so far. Probably take some getting used to. And I also picked up the Eco Tools sponge, and I went home this weekend and my boyfriend didn't, so I didn't even realize he picked up this stuff for me until after I bought the Eco Tools one. But I think I'm gonna try out the Equate ones, and I've heard like hit or miss things with them, but I want to try them out for myself. So that blended things in pretty nicely. Not that much coverage, but I could always add more. For powder, I'm going to use my Maybelline Fit Me one that I used for my eyes, and I'm going to use this big powder brush, which I'm really excited because I typically just use a kabuki brush, so I feel a little bit fancier just using one with a bigger handle, even though it is probably cheaper than the actual kabuki brush. So let's see how this powders my face. This is a nice brush, but I just think it was a little bit awkward for my face. Maybe I just need to get used to it because I'm used to using a kabuki brush. I'm going to do some more questions. So a couple people asked, what are your favorite items to pan? And I'm going to be using this contour brush from that set with my butter bronzer. Hopefully it works. And my favorite items to pan are honestly probably eyeshadows. I feel like those are the easiest ones to pan for me. And I feel like they're the most rewarding in my opinion. So I do like panning eyeshadows. I also like panning, I like painting cream shadows too, because those are things I can use every day without getting sick of them too much. I mean, I still get a little bit sick of them, but not too bad. So I do like panning eyeshadows and then cream eyeshadows. I'm going to use the same contour brush for blush as well. I'm going to use my Benefit Coralista. Natalie Cardona asked, how did you start building your YouTube? And I just commented on Project Panner's videos because that's what my channel was originally, just all about project panning. Now I do a little bit more on my channel, like a get ready with me video like I'm doing today, testing out new products. I like to do reviews, but I like to comment on people's videos, and I would suggest doing that without being like annoying with it. Like, don't be like sub for sub, or I love this video, check out my video now, subscribe to my channel, and I'll make sure to check if you subscribe, stuff like that. So I think that stuff's kind of annoying, but if you just comment about the video and say something like specific to the video, and then you can say like, oh, I make videos similar to this one if you want to check me out. I think that's a little bit better than just being like sub for sub. So that's how I started building my YouTube. I also have an Instagram that I created probably maybe 6 months after I started my channel, and that definitely helped grow my channel a little bit as well as my Instagram, so they both kind of worked hand in hand. So I would use social media to help build your YouTube, as well as commenting on people's videos without being annoying about it, and just putting out really good content, because people will come and see your videos, use tags in your videos, and I think those are all the tips that I have for building your YouTube at the moment. How do you guys think the blush turned out? I think it's nice. Not my absolute favorite brush, but I think I just need to get used to it again. So I'm going to go in with Champagne Pop, and this is kind of like the Real Techniques contour brush, but I'm going to use it for highlighting. You could probably use it for contouring as well. I'm going to use Champagne Pop again, and I'll probably mix it with another highlighter because it is probably a little bit dark for me, but I just think it's so pretty. Unfortunately, my camera cut off when I was highlighting, but I think it did blend everything pretty nicely. I also went over it with my powder brush just to blend everything together, which is what I normally do, and I think the look is really pretty. And I think that Champagne Pop does work for me a little bit now. The brush could have blended it in really nicely, but I also could have gotten some color on my face from the weekend. But right now I'm just putting a shimmery gold eyeliner on my lower lash line. I'm going to try this flat definer brush that is from the set with Smog from my Naked palette. And then hopefully this works out. For my inner corner, I'm going to use this little detailer brush, and I think you can use this as a lip brush too, but I'm going to use it on my inner corner with the same shade I used to highlight my brow bone from Milani. This is just a nice shimmery white gold color. This packs this on pretty nicely. So those are all the brushes I was going to use in this video. The only ones I'm not are this fan brush right here, because I don't use fan brushes. I'd rather just use the highlighting brush that I already used in this video. And then also this eyeliner brush, which is a very thin liner brush, so it might work really well for gel eyeliner. That's what it looks like, if you can see here. But I don't have a gel eyeliner, nor do I really use it, so I'm just not going to use it, so I'll put them in a future giveaway. Now on to lips. So for my lip liner, I'm going to use my Jordana lip liner in Tawny to define my lips. And for lipstick, I'm going to use MAC Faux. To finalize my look, I'm going to set everything with my Mario Badescu Rose Water Spray, and I freaking love this stuff. So here's the final look. It's a very bronzy gold eye look. And then I have some pink lips, some blended corally cheeks with some highlighter, and I think everything looks really nice. As for the makeup brushes, I really liked this set. I really did not expect to enjoy most of the brushes. I liked all of them, but I think the standouts were this flat shader brush, this blending brush right here, this highlighting brush. It really packed on my Champagne Pop without making it too intense. And then I really liked this foundation brush, which I was not expecting. I was really nervous to use this brush because, as I mentioned, foundation brushes can make my foundation look really streaky, at least on my face. And I liked this one. I think I might even like it more than my Zoeva one, which is really saying something because that one's a lot more expensive than this one. Overall, I do feel like the set is worth the price. I used 9 out of the 11 brushes, and I do feel like I would get get my money's worth even if I were to buy this set myself. Thank you to DUCare for sending me this set to review. I did enjoy trying out all the brushes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you would like to see more Get Ready With Me videos, let me know down below in the comments and thumbs up this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye.